One of the things I'm always reminded of when they speak about Jesus, they said that when he would go into a village, just his presence in the village and nothing more would elevate the consciousness of everyone in the village. So you have a chance to be Christ-like. And to be Christ-like really means to be a person who raises the consciousness of those around you. Patanjali put it this, he said, when you are steadfast means you never slip, that the only thing you have to give away is love. When you are steadfast in your abstention of thoughts of harm directed towards yourself and others, that all living creatures will cease to feel fear in your presence. So you have the ability, the capacity, to be a person who, no matter what it is that you see your children or your husband or your neighbors or the world or whatever doing, that you do nothing but just give love away. That's all you have to do. That's all you. And it's not because you're such a transcendental being. It's because that's all you have inside of you. You have just decided that that's what you're going to be. So then, when you encounter these kind of people, that regardless of what somebody else brings to me, in the form of disagreement and anger, prejudice, judgment, condemnation, all of these kinds of things that I oppose, I was able in that moment spontaneously to be able to give love instead of a lecture or instead of being angry at them and so on. And I've always believed that no one else can bring you down because of their contrary opinions or how they believe or their attitudes or their prejudices and so on. That isn't what makes lower energy cannot take higher energy and bring it down. The only reason that you are down and upset and hurt and depressed and so on when these things happen is because you leave your elevated place of love and join them and get upset with them for not being the way you are. And once you understand that they are not the reason for your being upset, boom, you just make a complete shift. That's what Wishes Fulfilled is really all about. It's about placing into your imagination what it is, the kind of life you want to imagine yourself to have, the kind of person you imagine yourself to be, and then assuming the feeling of that and living from that place till it becomes so ingrained in who you are that nothing can bring you down. Not only can nothing bring you down, but you find yourself, when you are in those kinds of circumstances, elevating other people and making them less prejudiced and less hateful and less angry and less depressed. Your imagination is yours. No one can have access to your imagination. It is strictly something, no one can tell you what to place in there. It's strictly yours. And you're allowed to say something in there. Here's the problem. You have come to a set of beliefs that tell you that reality is determined by what your senses tell you. And your senses are what you see and what you touch and what you feel and what you smell. This is what your senses tell you. But in your imagination, which is where all changes are going to take place, you can see something. You can say something very different. You can say, I am not depressed. I am content. I am happy. I am free of all addictions. And eventually, as you begin to do this, and then you assume the feeling of that wish fulfilled, once you begin to experience the feeling of that within your own body, you'll start acting upon that, and ultimately, you'll start retraining your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is the part of you that believes that your reality is dictated by what you see with your senses, and you can change that. You can shift that around. One of the most important things you can do is tonight, before you go to bed tonight, in the last 5 minutes that you are awake, is to review into your whatever you've placed into your imagination. In other words, don't use the last 5 minutes before you're about to enter into your subconscious mind and marinate there for the full next 8 hours. Don't use that to go over all the things that are wrong, all the things that make you depressed, all the reasons why you have to continue taking these medications. Instead, use the last 5 minutes that you have as you're about to enter into your subconscious mind and marinate there to go over everything you've placed into your imagination. I am content. I am free of all medications. I am able to handle anything that comes my way. I am a happy person. I am fulfilled. I am love. I am kindness. And just begin reprogramming your subconscious mind. Now, when you awaken, your subconscious mind can't make a distinction between what's going on that you see with your senses or what you've placed into your imagination with your mind. And so it will then begin to align with the universal subconscious mind, which will line you up with whatever you've got in your imagination. If you're looking for things to go wrong, if your belief is that this is a world that doesn't support you and makes you depressed and unhappy, then you'll align yourself with that, because when you change the way you look at things, truly, the things you look at change.
Oh, I love
If your imagination has been placed on a new intention, which is, I am free of the need for these antidepressants, and you begin to tell yourself this, ultimately they will no longer be something that you'll feel or have a need for in your life.